Hey, what's up, Life Without Pants with another Path of Exile video, and in today's video we're going to talk about our recent strategy. We're doing some science now. It's the beginning of the league. It's the perfect time for science, and we're going to talk about how we made at least 50C per map running through Strand with Deli on. So this is what it looks like when you've done that. This is for 40 maps. So we had our Atlas passive tree set up. We ran Strand with area contains a mirror of Delirium Sextant. We had a Gloom Shrine Sextant as well. We had Strongboxes are corrupted and at least rare, and an extra Abyss Sextant as well. And for our tree, let me just zoom in here. We're utilizing, or largely exploiting, growing Hordes, which the tooltip is bugged here. It's not actually 10% increased pack size per Polished Scarab. It is 7. So I'm not sure when they'll fix that. Hopefully soon. But growing Hordes means that rusted or any Scarab you chuck in the map device along with your map doesn't do the thing that it's supposed to. So divination card Scarabs won't give you divination, like more divination cards. Legion Scarabs won't give you an extra Legion. But it instead grants you pack size, and we figured we would try to run some Deli mirrors and see what kind of returns we get with boosting a lot of pack size. So the Abyss nodes are pretty nutty for Delirium, and I think it paid off pretty well. So just a quick overview of our map tree, our Atlas tree here. We got obviously an extra strongbox because strongboxes have packs around them. They have 3 packs around them, and the more pack size you get, the more that matters. We came over here. We blocked Ominous Silence. Obviously, we're not gonna, because we're running a Delirium Mirror Sextant, and we blocked Straight and Narrow just because I don't really want to run. Don't want to sell lots of contracts. We got some shrines in here as well as some shrine tech, because shrines also come with packs of monsters and the buffs make just everything a lot easier. We went for harbingers as well. Then we've got abyss chance, and this again, your maps have 1% chance to contain an abyss per 2% increased pack size. That's pretty big for us because we're going at least I think this is a 20 to 30% chance for an extra abyss based on 4 nodes, and we're stacking a lot of abysses, so that's quite impactful for us. I took these points here for Legion. You can, if you don't have, I think I've got 130 points unlocked. So if you don't have, another 5 for this, you can just skip this. It's not necessary. I really like the Legion there because I got a Headhunter, so it's like 20 free buffs, which is really, really nice. And I think it's only 20% of the time this actually shows up. So if, it's not at all necessary for this. We didn't get a lot of loot from Legions, I gotta say, but I think it makes it just a bit easier for my build to have Legions in there, counterintuitively. I put the Harbinger chance on here and the cooldown recovery rate. Obviously, we want the additional Harbinger rather than the extra stack of currency shards. We're not making a lot of money on the currency shards, but Harbingers do drop a ton of maps. They do drop currency shards. Maybe we'll get a fracturing shard, but that's, I really don't like spiky profits. I much more prefer slow, methodical progression, like, almost predictable progression towards a goal. It's much more my thing. Abyssal Army, so we get 50% increased monsters from Abysses. This is huge for 3 points on the tree if you're stacking Abysses. We went for singular focus. We're running Strand, so hopefully just trying to maintain the number of Strand maps. They're quite expensive. They're like 5C each now. So we've got the Drawn to Power and Syncretism for the Shrine tech. This just means that an extra pack, at least 1 magic pack of monsters around the shrines, so that's extra pack size and additional shrine effects. So that's really, really big just for 5 points. Obviously, we're coming over to get first wave, so we've got 25% to get a Harby boss. We're taking secret operations, and we got quite a few scarabs. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was quite a few. And we're not taking tamper-proof because we're using the Sextant for strongboxes in your maps are corrupted and at least rare. Then over here into the Delirium nodes, we're taking increases 50% faster with distance from the mirror. We're taking the singular entity. If you're finding it a little bit difficult, I think in retrospect I would have added these 2 points because there were a couple of times that I failed, or rather I didn't kill the boss by the time like the fog ran out before I got to the boss, and that's really big now. That's a really big deal. We'll get to that in a second. But having these nodes would have probably saved my bacon there, I think. We did Eater, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Obviously, we're going with Delusions of Persecution and Compulsive Hoarder, so we get 8% chance for 3 additional reward types. That's pretty big. And then some extra stuff. So you can get quite a lot of rewards out of this. And then Delirium encounters in your maps are 100% more likely to spawn unique bosses. I think we had Kosis, we had Omniphobia and Kosis maybe 4 or 5 times. Though, right? 1 in 10 maps, I would say, pretty much. And then Delirium bosses drop 50% increased simulacrum splinters. I didn't see any splinters drop from them at all. So I guess that's added to the pile at the end. And Delirium bosses in your maps are 50% increased chance to drop unique cluster jewels. Now, one of them did drop their unique cluster jewel. It was the one that grants secrets to suffering. I can't remember what it's called. And I have excluded that from the loot table because I don't think it's reasonable for you to think that that's going to drop. Maybe it is. Maybe we didn't get lucky, but it feels like we got lucky. So I didn't include that. Over here we've got all that glitters, so shrines in your map have 10% increased chance to be a covetous shrine, and covetous shrines means that you take more damage, but the quantity and rarity of items is increased. And obviously growing hordes, and then let's talk about these nodes for a bit. So abysses in your maps spawn 10% increased monsters for each pit prior in that abyss. So I think you can have up to 4 pits. So that means you can get up to 30% increased monsters, which is pretty big. There's just some abyss chance over here. And then, yeah, 3% chance to spawn 100% increased monsters. And abysses in your maps that do not lead to an abyssal depths lead to at least 3 pits if able. That's pretty big as well. And then 5% chance to spawn all magic monsters for each pit prior in that abyss. We saw this happening quite a few times. And then abysses in your maps that do not lead to abyssal depths lead to 4 pits if able. This is really, like, these are nutty for Delirium. They're really, really crazy. I was a little bit dubious about the abyss nodes. Is abyss good now? I mean, it's really, really good for Delirium. And then for the top Deli wheel, these are crazy. So Delirium reward types in your map gain +1 to count on map completion. So that means when you kill the boss, if you were, I don't know, like we frequently got to 7 or 8 rewards. And if we were at 8 rewards, then it would immediately tick over to 9 if you killed the map boss. And that's just nuts because you're at 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. And so that means you get 5 extra on all of them. Like you get, 1 extra on all of those reward types. It's like, this is one of the biggest nodes for Deli. If you're not running this and you're running Deli, I don't know what you're doing, honestly. It's really, really crazy. And then 100% increased, 18% increased stack size sim splinters found in your maps. And then these smaller nodes as well. These all add up. I think at the top end, we got 240 something splinters. So not quite there yet, not quite to the 300 splinter range. But yeah, we got 240 sometimes, and I think the lowest one, like I died a couple of times. I think it was like 80 or something like that, maybe 70, maybe as low as 70. So this is the tree we were running. Now, overall, I would say there's a few things. We were running Strand, wherever that is. I think it's over here. No, I can't remember. Oh, maybe it's down here somewhere. But yeah, here it is. We were running Strand, and Strand is a really good map for this because it's in a straight line. The things I learnt from this is that I hate Abyss. I really don't like it. Abyss for me, the issue with Abyss is that I really, really hate disappointment, and not imagined disappointment. Basically, there are 2 things that can happen with your Abyss that really ruin your day, and there's 3 things that can happen in total. So 1, the thing that works well with Abyss is if the Abyss goes towards the end of the Delirium Fog, you know, towards the end of the map, and that's, you totally want that. That's the best scenario. But if it leads to an abyssal depths, then it's ruined. Like, you're not going to go and do that when you're in the middle of Delirium map. And then the other one is it goes backwards. Like, the Abyss travels back the other way, out of the Delirium Fog. And then you're just, then it's also ruined as well. And that's, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's shit. So, yeah, I'm not going to be running Abyss anymore, I don't think. I'm going to pivot into something else. I got another, we put together another strategy on stream, so I'm going to do maybe some Breach Legion. And also blocking some nodes, because there were times when I would spawn like Sacred Grove in the map. And that's, to me, it screams like, here's a missed opportunity. Like, this could have been a Blight spawn, and that really, really sucks too, because Blight spawns a ton of monsters, and it was used on a, you know, you can't just duck into the Sacred Grove and do all of the harvest monsters. So yeah, it was. There's a few things that I would change about this strat. I think, where is it? Yeah, this is the current tree. I'm definitely going to block stuff off for the next one. We're going to do another 40 maps today with this new one and see how it goes. This is all Breach. Like, Breach feels really, really decent now, especially if you have Flash Breach. But let's talk about the profits. Let's talk about what we got. So I actually have a spreadsheet here, and we could just look at the costs real quick. So the Mirror Delirium Sextants, that cost 25C. And we were running 40 maps, so basically you're getting Gloom Shrine Sextants as well. I think I paid 5C for those. Strongboxes are corrupted, we paid 8 for those, and Extra Abyss, we paid 8 for those as well. You can buy the, if you're really pumping this hard, maybe you got like a Mage Blood or something like that, or you know, your build is insane, then maybe you could splurge on the double extra sextant, the elevated Extra Abyss Sextant. But we didn't bother with that. Scarabs, just any 2 polished scarabs is what we used. I think largely, maybe I still have like hundreds of one particular type of polished scarab. No, I think we used them all. Oh, okay, we used largely like Torment Scarabs and Bestiary Scarabs and, you know, lots of Shaper Scarabs. They cost 2C each in bulk. So we just got 160, we got, yeah, 160 Scarabs and just chucked them all on the maps, in the map device. Strand maps were 5C each. Chisels are pretty expensive. I mean, they're like, yeah, you're paying 30 chaos for 100. That's a lot. And alcs were not really that much. And we used the Harbinger Kirak mod on the map device as well, and that's 6C. But that means 3 extra Harbingers, so that's why we were quite into Harvey on the tree. And so that brought us out at 31 chaos per map in total. We made, so it's 1,272 chaos, and we made that back just in Sims, Chaos, Stacks X, and Strand maps. That's it. Nothing, like, with nothing else, we made our money back. There were a couple of big drops I didn't include. So the Divine Orb, we dropped one of those, and we got a good, I think this is 80C? 87, it's gone up. Yeah, a good div card, gem card is Mercy, and then the rest is just all here. So a bunch of Chaos Orbs, Stack Decks, Strand maps. We've got loads of other maps as well. So the way, because I don't have all my devices, all my favorite slots unlocked yet, you should always have one linked map favorited, as well as the one you're running, and then that means you can, because you have lots of drop connected map on the tree nodes, I think. Yeah, 2% chance for one monster in each of your maps to drop an additional connected map. And that means that because we're running singular focus over here, that means that it's one of our favorited maps, so it's not going to drop as basic currency instead. And that means that, interestingly enough, we got, I believe, let's have a look at the Excellence Next data. We got 38 strands, and we got exactly 19 Crimson Temples. So that's 50% of the amount of strands we got in Crimson Temples as well. But yeah, we got a lot of returns here. So in Sims, we got 665s, 19 Sims, so we did pretty well, I think. We got a bunch of Chaos back, stack decks, and Strand maps, and just that paid for everything else. And then we got Awakened Sextants. We got, yeah, a single invitation. Could we do 40 maps? We got a heck of a lot, like 100 Chaos in just chisels. Ancient Orbs, and Orbs of Alteration, 1,120. Now, I don't have Orbs of Alteration on my loot filter. So these are only ones that dropped in stacks. Like stacks of 10 or more. These drop a lot. And I think they're like 2,200 or something for a Divine. Let's have a look. 2.5k. So 2.5k for a Divine. And you can... so that's almost half a Divine in just Orbs of Alteration. So make sure those are on your map device. Talking about the rest of the total for our... it was 3,500 conservatively. And that's with these are not bulk prices either. So obviously you'll get more for selling all these things in bulk. We got a bunch of other maps which dropped just because we got the loot conversion. We got a lot of Awakened Sextants. Those are I'm pretty sure those are, yeah. So around a half a Divine in just Awakened Sextants. We got a golden oil and a silver oil from all the blights that we did. We got many clear oils. And I haven't upgraded those either, so perhaps I should do that. We've got quite a few GCPs. Orbs of Unmaking, got 40 of those. Some Horizons. We got some Divine Vessels. We've got a lot of Alks as well. Jewelers, I would usually convert those to Fusings. We've got some many Chromes. Chances, I would also upgrade those to Scours. Instilling and Enkindling Orbs, etc, etc, etc. We got a bunch of Scarabs. Got one Winged Scarab. But a bunch of Scarabs, and then in the T0 currency range, we got 3 Exalts. These are from, I think we got 1 Raw Drop, and then the rest of it all Shards from Harbies. We got 2 Orbs of Annulment, and that was all Shards from Harbies as well. I think those are like, yeah, 60. The Fragments is really looking thin on the ground. And then we got a little bit of Beyond currency. You could, it's possible if you wanted to put in Beyond on one of the Scarabs and then one of the Sextants rather, you could swap out one of the Sextants for Beyond and then put on these nodes here, and then you'll probably get some extra Beyond bosses. I found that most of my Beyond bosses spawned right towards the very end of the map, and I wasn't strong enough to kill them, or it was going to take like 20 minutes. I don't got that amount of time for a map. And we got some scattering reports, but then the Delirium Orbs. Now we got a lot of Delirium Orbs here, and we got 3 Skittering and 3 Fine. But then we got lots of, you know, these Imperial Delirium Orbs and this Blacksmith Delirium Orbs. And what you do with these, and this is, again, this is a very conservative estimate on our profits, because you just put these in here. And then for 240 Life Force, which we got from the harvests that we ran, we just do that, and it turns into a Foreboding, which is slightly better than that. And then you can turn it into Amorphous, or, oh look, it's a Fine one now. Fantastic. And that's 6, and if you are selling them in a stock of 8, then they're 8C each, if you have 8 of them. So that's 64 Chaos. So you can easily convert all of these into something good. And that's what I think we will do in order to sell them, because Delirium Orbs here, this is how many I've got with, you know, this is just from the Delirium mirrors we find during the campaign and up to this point, because I block it pretty early on, Deli. There's not much going on here, but from just running 40 maps, man, we got a lot of Delirium Orbs. How many actually did we get? Easily 50? Something like 50. So yeah, the profit's really high for this strat, and if you can handle Deli, then you got to be doing this, because it's 50 Chaos per map is what we came out at. So 31C invested, 85C in returns, so that's, you know, it's pretty decent. It's like 52 Chaos per map, 54 rather. And that's a very conservative estimate as well, without adding in like that you change the skittering, the abyssal delirium orbs into skittering ones, or that you change the foreboding ones into fine delirium orbs, that kind of stuff. It's a very, very good farm. I would highly recommend it if you like abysses. If you don't, maybe if you're like if you want to do Breach and Legion, that's basically what we're going to focus on next. The next tree that we're going to look at is going to be a Breach and Legion tree, and you will see there's no growing hordes on here because I want to force Legion and Breach with Scarabs. So I think maybe it's not dead, but I know that Breach you get a lot of. I mean, we're maybe missing 20% pack size here with without Breach. Without growing hordes for Breach, and yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go, but well, it's science. This is what we love doing. So anyway, that's it from me. I'm gonna I'm not sure if it's very useful to post this spreadsheet, but I will post the Atlas tree down below in the comments. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any feedback. I really, I want to make these videos better for you. So let me know in the comments if there's anything I can do better, or if there's anything you want to see, if there's like a specific tree or specific strategy you want me to try out. More than happy to. All for science. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you're kind to everyone you meet. Love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.